Hello, my friend. I am CharLee Simons, your host here on Do Not Talk, talking about the two things you're never supposed to talk about, politics and religion. One decides what life is going to be like here on earth. The other one decides what it's going to be like when you leave it. Makes it kind of important. Should have never stopped talking about it in the first place. But we had the media, we had the schools, we had my grandfather telling anybody who would listen, don't talk about religion and politics, it's too divisive. Get to dividing. I don't know. It's just my attitude. I am really glad you're here. Thank you so much for taking the time. I appreciate it. Oh, Mike and Shot, Scotty Sachs. One of my guests today is a former TV producer, director, everything. Good heavens, this guy. He's a kick. He's funny. He's fun to talk to, smart, irreverent as heck. And that also describes my friend Sam Anthony. So I thought, I got to get these two together. Sam Anthony from yournews.com, creating a media platform that is hyper local, but also worldwide. It's quite incredible what he's done. So I love having him on. And when I do, I like to try and pair him up with people I think, oh, this is going to be a good conversation. So I want to get to it pretty quickly, and I've been in the media my entire adult life. For anyone who doesn't know my story, I've worked for ABC, CBS, what used to be Clear Channels, now iHeart. And I've worked for big corporations and big businesses and small markets. I've just done it all in radio and television, mostly. And when I started this podcast a little over 3 years ago now, it was right during COVID, and everybody was going, yeah, there's so many other people doing it. Never going to make any money off of it. And so far, I've got to tell you, they've been right. I don't. So if you want to help this show and you want to help us grow, it would be a kick. I sure would appreciate it. Pray about it too, of course, because everything we do is the Lord's right in the middle of it. And that's at my new website, charleesimons.com, CharLeeSimons, charleesimons.com. Pretty simple if you just know how to spell my name. So there's everything about the show. There's shows on there, how to help, how to financially support if you want, how to contact me. You got a question, suggestion, or you want to be on the show. Click on the calendar there. See what's available. Be fun to talk to you and get to meet you. In the meantime, ladies and gentlemen, since we've been talking about the media, the power of the media, and the power of those Hollywood producer types who know how to work and manipulate the media and make you believe anything they want, was very apparent in this whole Jeff Bezos thing, this little space flight that never actually went to space. 11 minutes of these astronauts, as they have dared to call themselves after an 11-minute flight, skirting around close to the edge of the atmosphere. It was, but I love this guy who did a parody of it. Watch this.
1, 2, 3, take it up space! Woo!
Perry.
Wow. It's amazing.
It's amazing space.
Guys, I have to tell you, look at the moon. Wow.
Wow, look at the blue line.
Oh my gosh. Oh my god.
Wow.
Oh, and then the butterfly. Come on, that's funny. That is hilarious. Hold on a second. I got something in my way that this has been happening just since I went on today. I don't know what that's all about. That's funny. Regardless of what you think about that fake stage space flight on that just big phallic looking thing, Jeff Bezos is very impressed with the male anatomy because all of his rockets. I'm not the only one noticing that. Hello, Sam Anthony. What's going on at yournews.com, my friend? Step up.
Charlie, how are you, man? Can you hear me?
I can. Hold on. There we go. Been having some little difficulties with the the system that I've been using just lately, and I'll fix this in post, as they say.
There I am. Hey, man.
What's up, buddy?
Good to see you.
You too. Thank you very much.
I
I
don't want to
appreciate.
hurt your feelings, but I really only showed up because Scotty Sachs was going to be here, and
I don't blame you. If it was just me, I wouldn't show either. But let's get him in. Let's get Scotty Sachs into the mix. This guy is. I first met him at an event for Take Our Border Back down in Southern California. We were right at the Mexican border, American Mexican, and he was one of the guest speakers that they had before we went on this trek. We did a convoy just to show us support, a sign of strength. All of us getting together, a bunch of patriots, doing a convoy to Texas. And so we started in SoCal, right there at the border, and that's when Scotty Sachs got on my radar, and I was impressed with him so much. I said, "I gotta have you on my show, please. It's a brand new show. I'm just getting started." And he goes, "Sure." And here he is again. What's up, buddy?
Hey, good to see you guys. I was going to say the same thing. The only reason I'm coming on is to be with Sam Anthony, but I don't want to hurt your feelings. Let me get centered here.
you can leave whenever you want, Charlie.
Don't hurt my Don't hurt my feeling.
CharLee, you're a brilliant broadcaster. You and I are old school. We come out of TV and radio started in the early 80s and 90s. And you left the industry one way, I left another. I'm actually still in it, in that I still do negotiations with the TV and radio networks and bring them money. That's why they like me and give me a microphone, because I bring them money. That's the only reason they do it. But and I don't get paid a dime from them. My clients pay me. But CharLee, you're a great KGO, KFSO, San Francisco broadcaster. Those were big sticks. Those were booming radio frequencies. And I'm familiar with your work from way back when. And Sam is a brilliant entrepreneur. So it's great to be with two really brilliant guys.
Well, thank you for that. I appreciate that.
Thanks.
Thanks for the build up. But now I got nowhere but to fail. I wanted to get you guys together because Scotty has an event coming up, and he understands about marketing and promotion and the importance of it. But we also understand now, maybe there was a time in our lives that all we cared about was extra ratings and getting more listeners or readership. That's all that mattered. I'm going to speak for you guys. Just tell me if I'm wrong. I believe that you're like me, that I'm answering to a higher power now. I'm doing this for the Lord. I don't want to bring lying into it. I don't want to bring coercion into it. I don't want to try and fool people just to get shock and attention, which is all you do in the media, trying to get 15 more minutes. That's always the attitude. Get them listening or reading or watching for 15 more minutes. Whatever it takes. Doing a tease, doing a this, doing a that. I mean, shoot, we used to promise big name celebrities are coming up. Oh, we're so excited. We finally got, who was hot at the time? This is in the early 2000s, Matt Damon. We got Matt Damon on the show this morning. Promoted it. Oh, we just heard from his people. It's been postponed. That's the kind of crap that we did. We never had Matt Damon, but we said that we did because he had some big movie coming out that everybody was talking about. We were liars.
So wait, it was still fake news back then too?
Oh, yes. There's been
Sam,
fake news almost.
I got to share a tidbit with you, Sam. In 1989, I was sitting alone with Peter Jennings at an ABC event, big party, fall preview. They unveiled their fall programming. Peter Jennings was the #1 newscaster of all time in history, had the biggest ratings ever in
ABC.
6 o'clock news, ABC.
Yeah.
And we're sitting one-on-one, and I'll skip to the end, the punchline. It centered around my grandfather and his dislike for Peter Jennings because he felt he was very anti-Semitic, pro-Arab. And Peter admitted, I am, because I didn't get hotels when I was a rookie reporter. I got host family that was a Palestinian Arabic family. And so I do sympathize with him. Here's the punchline. He says, but it doesn't matter, Scotty, what I said on air and my deference to the Palestinians, my support for them. He said it didn't matter because everything you see and hear on TV is a construct and a narrative to fit an agenda. He had 4 or 5 drinks in him. I wasn't drinking, by the way. He said the words out loud. It's a construct and a narrative to fit an agenda. And here's the #1 news guy that does the news every night admitting that everything he's talking about is a narrative to fit an agenda. pretty amazing.
Yeah, no question about it. And these guys are getting big checks, and so they didn't want to give up the money, so they had to basically push the agenda, or somebody else will sit there and do it for you.
There will
Right.
be somebody else. Exactly
Mhm.
right. So if you have no moral construct, if you have no backbone, you're going to do whatever it takes just to continue getting the accolades, the attention, and the paycheck. And that's what I did. That's how I lived my life. We suck for the most part. Another blanket statement. For the most part, media people are incredibly lazy and will do anything for attention.
So, Charlie, you work for all those big networks. So, when did you become unwoke, or did they just have to get rid of you in order for you?
It started when I got saved when I was 31. And I lost my big Bay Area job because I went on the air talking about, I'm a Christian now. I'm a follower of Christ Jesus. And then I started putting callers on the air when they were calling and going, we've been praying for you. I'm like, really? So I'm putting them on the air. Management freaked because I'm going completely against the narrative, which is not promoting God. That's for sure. We were playing songs that are on a lick you like a lollipop and that kind of crap. So they didn't want to be hearing about Jesus on my radio show. Double-digit ratings and a six-figure income, boom, taken away just that fast because I broke my contract. They said I was going against. I wasn't giving them the morning show that they hired me to do. I was like, yeah, you're right, and I'm not going to anymore because I really did get saved. That was the beginning of it. But enough about me. Back to you guys. I want to hear your stories about the media. Sam, you're fairly new to it, but you've gotten a rude awakening, haven't you now? But Scotty and I, this is all we've done all our lives. So he and I could tell stories for hours, I'm sure.
Yeah, so with me, I never really believed the media was lying, simply because I guess I never paid close enough attention. But when I first figured it out is when Trump won the election in 2016, and they all turned against him, which was very obvious they were not telling the truth. I think any moron could have figured that out at that point. So I label myself somewhere between an idiot and a moron, and anywhere in there for trying to figure it out. And I was telling somebody the other day, I go, I don't listen to any network TV. I don't turn on any radio stations on the dial. Everything I gather is either from my own site or I wouldn't get it anywhere, with the exception of I do a lot of these shows. And so when you're on these shows, you have to be up to date with what the enemy is talking about. So I have to listen to, go on social media and people are posting these different clips so you understand what's going on, so you could have an intelligent conversation. But all it ever does is piss you off, right? So I find that I'm angry, until I go to bed, I'm like freaking pissed off. I have to be honest with you guys. Life is much better if you live in a bubble and you don't have to deal with all that stuff. Because you guys must be pissed every fucking minute of the day. Excuse my expression. It just angers you because they're actually, this whole thing with, this MS-13 member, and when are you going to bring him back? I cannot believe somebody hasn't kicked these people out of the White House. I want to use different words, but I won't. But I can't believe they're even allowing them to come in. It's just agitating and aggravating. No use even having you anymore. Go talk to somebody else, and we're not going to give you any information. Just watch it on TV and report from there. So anyway,
what has been happening? How many people have kept their security clearance long after their jobs were ended, or they retired, or even got fired, and they get to keep their security clearance? And nobody was revoking these until President Trump came along and took away their lifeline. So much stuff was always being leaked out to the media, and many of them working in the media. What's his face over there on CNN, Clapper and all these clowns, CIA people still keeping their security clearance. They don't even work there anymore. Yeah.
It's crazy, isn't it?
Sam, your anger that you reference is very common. We all went through it. We're all going through it because of this little thing called cognitive dissonance. We believe one thing our whole lives, and then we realize it's another way, and our cognitive dissonance kicks in. And in order to admit we didn't understand the world the way it really is, we get angry, we get mad, we get frustrated. I didn't wake up till 2009, maybe a few years earlier than you, Sam, but we all have a story about our awakening. Mine was reading G. Edward Griffin's The Creature of Jekyll Island, all about the Federal Reserve banking system. By the way, G. Edward Griffin will be on the Freedom to Choose telethon Sunday. But my awakening came from reading that book and then doing a deep dive. And even though I was hearing things in my years in the Hollywood and the music industry, I wasn't buying into it. 1992, Johnny Cash, I was working with him, syndicating a radio show for him, and he wouldn't go to meetings. He just wouldn't go to meetings, no matter who we met with, record labels, radio networks, he wouldn't go. I was getting really frustrated. I asked his wife backstage one day, June Carter Cash, why won't Johnny go to meetings? And she looked around. She had family and friends. Because they're a Luciferian cult. They worship Satan. I said, what? Can you repeat that? Did I hear you right? Yes, they're a Luciferian cult. They worship Satan. There was no internet. And I had heard the word Satan, of course. I was in my early 30s. But I had to go to the library and read up on Satan. And so it was about maybe a week or two on my mind. Wow, I'm working in an industry that worships Satan. But 2 weeks later, busy, trying to build a business, running around the track too fast. And I forgot all about it. But all these things that Peter Jennings and Johnny Cash, what I saw with James Brown abusing young 14 and 15-year-old girls that were his backup singers that looked 20, 25 with makeup and hair. And he had them backstage grabbing their butts and their boobs and slipping them behind closed doors. All these things, I didn't connect any dots, Sam. So when I finally did, I was just like you, angry, frustrated, maybe a lot of sadness at the same time. There's so many emotions that we have because of this cognitive dissonance, and it's hard to get over it. I don't think we'll ever truly get over the fact we're living in a world run by a satanic cult and bankers that have the gold and make the rules. And that's changing. Thank God it's changing.
Oh, no question. So if I hear you correctly, I have CD.
Yes.
So it's better than ED.
Normal. Way better. Way better.
Okay.
So you can live with
positive spin.
Yeah, you can live with CD. It's pretty hard to live
cognitive
with
dissonance CD. And I want to see that commercial on TV. And
I never heard that, Sam. That's
Hear all the side
classic. I
effects.
never heard that.
That's how my mind works. I'm sorry. I have to make light of something.
That's funny. Scotty, you mentioned it. Let's hear more about it. This event coming up this Sunday.
Yeah, Freedom to Choose USA or Freedom to Choose LA. It's the only organization. It started in 2021, organized around the jab mandates. The founders of Freedom to Choose, the husband was a public servant working for the power company in LA County. His wife is an activist. They got together when he was mandated to take the jab and refused. Was threatened. They were threatening his job. He sent out a few texts over a weekend. Hey guys, you want to band together and oppose these jabs? And he got 800 responses over the weekend. Yeah, we're all in. These were all power workers, policemen, firemen, all the civil servants he knew he had texted. He had a whole list of them, and they all responded affirmatively. Yeah, we're in. Let's fight this jab. Well, fast forward to 2025, and we have 3 active cases in the LA court system in Los Angeles County, 5,000 plaintiffs total. We have 3 active cases with 4 major plaintiffs we're going to have on the telethon Sunday. It's a telethon. We need to raise money. Our main attorney's been working pro bono. She doesn't take any money. It's 4 years in the works, and she spends almost full time. I don't know how she does it, but she's got the heart of gold. Obviously, she's got she's following she says it's God's calling to do this. You understand that, Charlie. I understand it. Sam does. And so we're going to raise money because we believe this is going to go to SCOTUS, to the Supreme Court. It's going to go all the way. The judges in LA have thrown, we had a number of cases we filed in the beginning. They threw them all out, didn't have standing. We had a Japanese judge whose father was in a Japanese internment camp, and he sympathized and he kept the case alive. And then our attorney filed a few more, and we end up with 3 cases still active. And we need to raise funds to stay in the courts. Otherwise, that's part of their game. They make it so expensive.
Oh, yeah.
To do legal work.
Oh, yeah.
And you can't fight City Hall. This is literally who we're fighting. We've sued.
And that's why they're getting paid to make sure you never get any kind of justice or any kind of resolution.
And the defendants are Gavin Newsom, former mayor of LA, Garcetti, and all the health officials and health administrators that administered the jab. We've named over 100 defendants. They're scared to death of these cases because it seeks, we didn't name the amount, but we are seeking damages for the victims who either took the jab and got injured or didn't take the jab and lost their job. Those are the two.
Brilliant, because we can't sue the drug manufacturers because they're above reproach, which I think was a tremendous mistake. And I hope that President Trump reverses what my president, first Republican I was ever able to vote for, Ronald Reagan, put this into effect. And I'm sorry he did. I don't know why or what the thinking was at the time, but it's been catastrophic for the world because these drug manufacturers are completely above any kind of talk about being above the law. That's what.
Remember, they shot Reagan in the head.
That's right.
He was a bit compromised, I suggest to you.
Yeah. Yeah.
And thank God for Trump. He can get shot square between the eyes. He'd get up and fight.
But this is great because if you can't go after those who made the horrible jab, I don't know why we're saying jab. You can say whatever you want on this show. The shot, the COVID scam.
Well, we call them jab mandates. That's what they are.
Yeah, exactly. So go after those who said you're going to do this or you're going to lose everything.
Exactly. That's what we're doing. So we need to raise money on Sunday, 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. Central. You will join us. I have an open slot, I think, that I'm going to invite you on, Sam, because your news is a global outlet to get any word out. And we've got G. Edward Griffin. We've got S. Gianon, who's an amazing geopolitical analyst. He gets his info from the military. Scott McKay, the Patriot Street Fighter, who's an awesome guy. He's been in the trenches for years.
Yep.
He worked for the Bushes. He became awake while working for the Bushes. He saw how they operated, and he said, boy, my dream of being a senator for the state of Texas has gone to hell when I work for the Bushes and see how they operate. No, thank you. Politics is not my calling. And we got a bunch of other great guests coming on, and look forward to the hour you will co-host with me, Charlie. We will have a few guests on. There's a whole list. We'll put out the list this week, but thank you for supporting it. Freedom to Choose Telethon, Sunday, April 27th, 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. Central. 12 hours. We'll be in the trenches, and I'll hang in there for the 12 hours and guzzle a bunch of water and work with great guys like you. I've got 11 other co-hosts beside you coming on.
Where do we watch it?
sovereignradio.com/live.
Are you going to have it on like a YouTube or a Rumble?
Yeah, it'll be on Rumble as well.
Because if you put it on Rumble, get it to me, and I could broadcast it live for you.
All right, we will do that. I think our guy has to get you some kind of link to do that, right?
Yeah, it's just the embed code. I mean, Charlie does it all the time. Send it to Charlie. He'll post it. Matter of fact, that's what you do. We'll put it in your account.
There you go. Thank you guys for the support, and we hope to raise. Our goal is 50,000 over the next several weeks, and we're kicking it off with this telethon. I did a telethon January 1st for a group called Buck Up Mission Relief. It's providing relief to the folks in North Carolina, the floods, and they got some great stories and some gruesome stories. My favorite story is the truck driver who drove a truck with toys and cribs and everything for kids into the belly of the beast of the floods, was turned away by FEMA. Said he couldn't bring the toys and cribs in. Why? Just because they're FEMA, and they can keep you out if they want.
When that was all going on, I had on my show a gentleman who was actually a pilot, and several pilots got together, and they were flying in supplies, landing helicopters, planes where they could land, and he told the same story. FEMA turning them away.
Yep.
Food, for people. FEMA said, no, get out of here before we call in the authorities and really, forcibly take you out. It was weird. It's scary as hell.
Well, the fires in LA and the floods in North Carolina, back to Peter Jennings, a construct and a narrative to fit an agenda. There's an agenda behind both those events, of course. The lithium in the ground in the Carolinas, the largest deposit of lithium happens to be in North Carolina. They flooded out. Oh, but that's just a coincidence. And guess what they're doing in LA? A lot of those people will never get their homes back. They're taking over the real estate to make a 15-minute city out of it.
That's remember, Gavin Newsom was all giddy, Governor Hairdo, swaying back and forth while he was on camera, talking about how excited he was that this is going to be reshaped, reformed. It's going to be a whole new era for this area of Los Angeles. All these rich people with all their homes who've been protected by Prop 13 and aren't paying that many property taxes like you would think. We got them out. Now we're going to rebuild. This state is broke. It's bankrupt morally and financially. And as Sam and I, the biggest show we've done, got over 124,000 views. And it was simply called California's Done.
That was saying that.
But I hate to say it. I'm a native. I'm broadcasting live from Northern California right now. And this is my state. But it's... Yeah. I don't see a light at the end of the tunnel here, Scotty. I know you got out.
I lived 22 years in San Diego. I love it. It's a great city. It's a great climate. One of the best climates in the world. My daughter is still there, although she's going to college in Utah in the fall. But the bottom line is California is filled with amazing people, millions of amazing people. It's just, how do we get out from under the stranglehold? Ted Nugent got you in a stranglehold, baby. And that's what Gavin Newsom and Nancy Pelosi and Adam Schiff, who have probably never been elected the last many years, but selected, right? These people don't seem... Do you know anyone who voted for Pelosi or Schiff? I've talked to a lot of people in California over the years. Nobody I know voted for him. And Gavin Newsom was recalled. He lost that election, didn't he, Charlie?
Oh, yeah, absolutely he did. Yeah, there was all kinds of dirty politics going on there and election fraud. So, Sam, thank you for getting involved. And I think that's a great idea if you could be broadcasting this event live on your news.
I'm on your side. So whatever I could do to get myself quicker to be arrested, I'm all for it. And I'm just wondering one day when you and I are going to be talking and all of a sudden the police come and grab you and drag you up. Charlie?
Well, they've grabbed my bank account, Sam. They have seized, the state of California Franchise Tax Board seized my bank account almost 18 months ago. I'm still in the fight. And would you believe their lawyer slash, I think they call him compliance officer. And they're going after me for years that I paid taxes, but not enough, they say. Yet there's years I didn't pay taxes. They've completely ignored. Go figure, right? But this compliance officer actually said to my lawyer, this guy would do himself a favor if he turned off his microphone and shut up. I think this is what it's about. I don't think it's about taxes.
Of course it is.
Silencing me.
Control.
Yeah. Exactly.
Right? I mean,
control.
What is the whole communist playbook? It's control the press, right? Number one, control the press. Control everything.
Saul Alinsky rules for radicals. Exactly. That's right out of the communist playbook.
That's rule number one. So, control the press. So they're going to hate me. That's all I'm
Scotty, one more time. It's sovereignradio.com/live.
Live, yeah.
Starting at what time? Central time?
9 a.m. Central, 9 p.m. Pacific. It's all Central time, 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. And to have it on a site like Your News, one of the most overdue, brilliant ideas, Sam. Really, I don't blow smoke up your ass, buddy. You have created something that the world needs, a news source that can drill down to a zip code, a city, a state, around the world, that we can have boots on the ground, real patriot newscasters, broadcasters, real journalism. That's what's happening on Your News, real journalism. Imagine that. In 2025, we have real journalists posting on your site globally. You have it all over the world, right, Sam?
Well, we have like I'm US. I'm in the process of getting Canada open because I'm getting lots of pressure from Canadians to do it. So now I'm like, all right, fine, I'll bite the bullet. So I'll get Canada open, but we have journalists all over the place. So it's just world news. So I have people that are in Palestine or Israel. I have people that are in Australia that are submitting news, right? I have somebody that just signed up this morning that then sent me a text or not a text, but a LinkedIn message saying, I just signed up. I'm a journalist. I was in India, but now I live in Jersey. And, and so I activated her within seconds and I saw her bio and 2 articles, boom, in minutes they came in. So, and I went, holy crap, this is good. I mean, this is a real deal. So,
you took everything the internet can do, from geo-targeting to real journalism, and you combined it in a way that anyone can submit, that you approve, can submit information and articles that are relevant to their local chamber of commerce. And that's where guys, we all know the battleground is a local one, because Trump, as great as the job he's doing on a American level, making America great again, attempting to, and globally, notice global leaders around the world are borrowing Trump's playbook now in South America, in not Ukraine. There's an Eastern European country. The leader is a Trump acolyte. He's totally duplicating Trump's playbook. But Trump isn't coming to our counties and states. He can't. He can't help us in our school boards.
Right.
And in our county boards. If Shasta County, California, a blue as blue county, can get rid of their school board and turn it into a conservative school board, anybody can. And they did it in Shasta County. Did you hear that story, Charlie?
Oh, heck yeah.
That was
Supervisor Cry, and took a lot of heat, and they immediately launched a recall campaign against him. They failed, but they don't want the will of the people. They say they do. They call themselves Democrats because they believe in a democracy, which we're not. We're a constitutional republic. We're not a democracy, but that's what they want. So it's so funny how much they're always talking about, it's the people, what the people want. That's all we're interested in. No, you're not one bit. It's all about control and power. So I love that you're doing this lawsuit. I want it to succeed. I want to see you keep going. And if we can help, even just you got to line up a great guest speakers and guest hosts. I think it's a wonderful idea. 12 hours of it. That's extraordinary. So that's this Sunday, starting at 9 a.m. to 9 p.m., 12 hours this Sunday, Central Time. So, anything we can do to help, count on us. I'll be there at noon Pacific, which is 11 a.m. Central.
No, you're on at noon Central, 10 Pacific.
10 Pacific.
And
all right.
Sam, I think I have an open slot, and I'll reach out to you if you have some time on Sunday. Can come on in. I want you to talk about what you're doing, because your news is a vehicle to get the word out in any place in the world. And I think it's just wonderful. Charlie, thank you so much for the opportunity and to meet Sam face to face and hang out with you guys. It's a lot of fun. I wish I could stay, but got to run. I'm grateful to you, my brother, Charlie. Thank you. And Sam, great to meet you.
Great to
Go
meet
get
you
him,
too.
my friend.
I'll see you Thursday.
Yep, absolutely. Thank you,
All right,
Scotty
guys.
Sack. Oh, by the way,
Thank
where
you
do we find you? What's your contact information? Anybody wants to be involved with what
Go
you're
to
doing?
sovereignradio.com or Scotty Sachs on X.
Okay.
Thank you, guys.
All right, my friend.
See you.
Talk to you soon.
Yes, sir.
That's awesome. He's a kick. He's one I'd love to see us all sitting down over a steak dinner and some scotch and drambuie. That's my drink. And just talking, just swapping stories. I love doing stuff like that. It's fun. So thank you very much, Sam. With yournews.com, anybody want to know more about that or be involved in what you're doing? What's the best way to do that?
Depends on what they want to do. You want to be a reader? I mean, it's yournews.com. You want to be a journalist, or you have news you want to share with the community. There's a submission form. You could, click the submit news button and, put up your opinion or whatever. If you're an actual news journalist or you want to be a monetized news journalist, that you go to the bottom of the page and click on become a citizen journalist. It's an application you fill out, and then once approved, you get email notification. And by the way, our product is no different than YouTube in the sense that you could be a broadcaster and never been in the broadcast. So you're one of the rare ones that, was on YouTube at the time or Rumble, but you were in the broadcast industry. 99% of the people have never been in the broadcast industry, 99.9. And some people sink, some people swim. It just depends, right? But the cream always rises to the top. So in the journalism business, it's really just about going and covering a city council meeting, taking notes, coming back, writing a story. If you're not a great writer, you put the notes into Chat GPT or an artificial intelligence, tell it what you want. And when it spits out the thing that you wanted, that's your article. And then submit it. And now you're a news reporter. And that needs to be shared with the local community. But the old guard's leaving. It's never going to survive. I keep saying it. I'm telling you, and everybody knows it now. But I don't give them more. CharLee, we haven't even talked about this, but I got the numbers from Adweek. I don't know if you saw them on mainstream media. Did you? So I want you to hear the significance of this. So the number one this is for television. Number one was Fox News. They had 3 million viewers for the quarter.
That's it?
For the quarter. Okay. We say it again. For the January, February, March. We're in April right now, so the numbers just came out last week. For the quarter. Now, that's not the interesting part, because that's right. Remember, they had 3 million. When Tucker left, they lost 2 million. That's $1 million a month. Okay. The interesting part was the age group between 25 and 54, which there's 120 or 30 million people that age, 380.
That's the target demo. Okay. That's the money
380,000 viewers. Okay. Which means out of 3 million, there was 2.6 million that were 70 plus. Okay. Or 56 plus, whatever it was, 55 plus. Second was MSNBC. And they had just barely over 1 million and 53,000 between 25 and 54. Third was CNN, 588,000 for 3 months. Okay. And they had 79,000 between 25 and 54. So for those of you, look, the numbers are low to begin with. But what I'm saying is the 70-year-old's going to die before the 25-year-old. That's what I'm getting at. It's that younger generation that is consuming information somewhere else. So right there, I just put up, call it 500,000 people out of 150 million. Okay. So it's like, where's the rest? And they're not there. They're watching it somewhere else. And that's the point. They're getting it on Rumble. They could be getting it on YouTube. They could be getting it on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, whatever. It's none of our business. It's just consumption has changed. And those antiquated models are going to die, because when that older crowd leaves, the 2.6 of the 400,000 or of the 3, that's not enough to sustain a network. You know that. Okay. No. And yet millions of people are on Instagram. Millions of people are on TikTok. When I say millions, like 1 billion. Okay. But it's just ridiculously large. That's where everything's headed. And that's the point I'm trying to make. Those things won't survive. And that's why I keep telling everybody what I do will replace it. It's not even like I'm 99% there. There's a 100% chance what I do will replace it. It will, and it doesn't mean it's going to be me. It just means the type of business model. It'll be a hyper local news platform, most likely global, with a social component where the public can interact and share in the narrative. A monetization model like YouTube, where the journalist shares in the ad revenue, and a self-service ad platform where somebody can buy an ad and target it to one zip code and everywhere in between. It's all that stuff, like Scotty said, is all being done. You just put it together for news. It's all done on other platforms. It's just they don't do this business. Yeah. So it's kind of obvious. And then going back to what we just said about the communist playbook, control the press, which is number one, because if you can control all the information, you're golden. So as the legacy media falters, do you really think they're going to control, something like Rumble? And you on Rumble, you can't be controlled, right? The problem is it's too much of a free for all. It's like even on my platform, as we scale and grow, and we add journalists daily, as we scale and grow, you can't control these people. How the hell do I know if what he's putting out in some city council meeting is accurate? I mean, there's no possible way to know it. So you have to know that the journalist is the one that, the only thing they have is their credibility. And if they lie, the public will certainly let you know. And then you get rid of those people. But it's going to be a place where information and free speech can prevail, and people and free flow of information, and the cream will always rise to the top. That's why I'm saying, you can't control something like this. It's impossible. It's impossible for, if I wanted to, and I don't even want to stop liberals from having an opinion or a view. But, even if I disagree, we'll publish it. It's just that it's so massive in scope that it can't be contained. It's like its own living, breathing thing. And that's a good thing for free speech. That's the whole point of a free market. It's not controlled by any individual, because it literally cannot be.
You know what I love the most about it is now finally we can actually answer back. We can actually challenge these people who've been presenting us our facts. And you never could before. Some goofball, talking head on television, you can't answer back. You can't challenge them. There's no immediacy to it. Newspaper, you can send a letter to the editor, but you got a leftist editor there who's not going to put your letter in the paper, possibly. Radio, you could call, you could complain, you could call the studio line or the request line or whatever and say your piece, but there's no challenging it. But on your news, you got comments. It's an online platform. You can actually respond to these kind of things. You can challenge them. You can talk back and go, well, why do you say that? That doesn't seem right. That most journalists and media people have never known that kind of scrutiny. So the good ones, like you said, are going to rise to the top. The bad ones are going to go away.
It's all about getting information out to the public and sharing news and information freely, and letting the public make the decision on what they what they agree with and what they don't agree with. And currently, we live in a centralized news business, right? And so this just completely decentralizes the media industry. And this is why the mainstream media doesn't like you guys, because technically I'm not I'm not the talking head. I'm not the guy writing the article. I'm just the owner of the playing field that everybody's playing on, and we just keep adding people and adding people. And the more people coming on, the bigger your audience grows. It's Facebook for news. And it's eventually gets to the point where you become the next mainstream media, and it's not because I willed it. It's just the old guard's dead. All the content's over here. Everybody's coming in to consume it. And the unique part about this is 99% of my content has nothing to do with politics. That's the truth. I see all these stories coming in. I mean, and very few have to do with politics, but keep in mind, we have literally thousands of articles in our database, tens of thousands of articles. And most of them are, like here, I'm looking at something right now. It is Alcatraz East Crime Museum unveils new temporary exhibit about Natalie Holloway's murder. It has nothing to do with politics. This is just a museum that's having an event in a specific market. And it's a press release is what it is, but who cares? The point is that's something you can actually go to. And people are going to want to know about that. So that's my point. And that's the bulk of my content is local news somewhere, things to do, the bank robbery, the car crash, the city council meeting. It could be faith-based stuff, which, now that, it's Easter, we got a lot of stuff about that, but it's all that content which drives a different set of eyeballs. My interest is in not controlling the narrative. My interest is in controlling the platform to make sure that the narrative of everybody can get out. I guess that's a good way of saying it, right? So that
I love it. So go to yournews.com and you can even invest. You want to be a part of it. This is ground floor stuff. This is your opportunity if you're a smart investor, and you'll find that opportunity down at the bottom of the page. Go to yournews.com and scroll down to the bottom. And all your choices are there as to what you can do and how you can be involved and how deeply you want to go with this. I think it's great. Thank you, Sam Anthony. I appreciate you very much, my
Me
friend.
too, Charlie. Thanks for having me on the show. I appreciate it.
All right, buddy. And it was fun getting him and Scotty together. So you want to help this show, you can do that through my new website, CharLeeSimons.com, CharLeeSimons.com. How you can invest, how you can help support us financially, or be involved. Contact me, schedule yourself to be on the show. It's all right there in one place, CharLeeSimons.com. May God bless you and keep you. May God bless America. But most importantly, America, bless God.